The war prison of Karsen Rift was not loud. It didn't need to be. No screams echoed for long here. No names survived long enough to matter. Inside cell 19 sat a captured insurgent commander, designated only as Subject R12. But he had a name once, Kael Draven. Now he was just another asset awaiting extraction or erasure. Outside the reinforced glass, Captain Iris Vale stood watching him. Cold uniform, controlled posture, reputation for breaking high-value prisoners without raising her voice. She didn't believe in cruelty. She believed in precision. And Kael was her next assignment. Scene 2, First Contact. The interrogation room was simple. Metal table, 2 chairs, no distractions. Kael was brought in with restraints. He didn't struggle. That annoyed Iris more than resistance would have. She studied him. "You don't look like a commander," she said. Kael glanced at her calmly. "And you don't look like someone who enjoys this job." A pause. Then Iris replied, "I don't." Silence. That was the first imbalance. Because prisoners usually feared her, or hated her, but he just observed, like she was part of a system he already understood. Scene 3, The First Crack in Control. Iris began questioning. Strategic networks, supply routes, rebel coordination. Kael answered nothing directly, but every answer he did give was structured. Not evasive, not emotional, just measured truth fragments. At one point she stopped. "You're wasting time." Kael looked at her. "No, you are." She frowned slightly. He continued, "You're trying to extract a story, but I operate in systems, not stories." That hit differently, because she realized something uncomfortable. He wasn't resisting interrogation. He was refusing its premise. Scene 4, The Unexpected Respect. Days passed. Same room, same structure, but something changed. Iris noticed patterns. Kael never lied, but he also never gave full truths unless asked correctly. It was like speaking to someone who only responded to precision of thought. One evening, she said, "You could have killed a lot more people than you did." Kael didn't deny it. "I chose not to." "Why?" A pause. Then, "Because escalation is easy. Control is harder." Iris leaned slightly forward. "That sounds like discipline." Kael looked at her. "No, that sounds like survival." And for the first time, Iris didn't immediately respond, because that was something she understood too well. Scene 5, The Shift in Tone. Interrogation stopped being interrogation. It became conversation, then analysis, then something neither of them labeled. One night, facility power flickered due to external attack alarms. Emergency protocols activated. Guards rushed in, but Kael stayed seated, calm. Iris noticed. "You're not concerned?" He replied, "If I were the objective, I would already be removed." She frowned. "That's not how warfare works." Kael looked at her. "It is when both sides understand outcomes before action." That sentence stayed with her longer than expected, because it implied something dangerous. He didn't fear her system. He studied it. Scene 6, The First Moment of Trust. Without trust, a breach happened 2 days later. Unknown attackers targeted the facility. Containment failed in outer sectors. Security protocols locked down interrogation wing. Iris stayed inside. Protocol violation. Kael noticed immediately. "You should evacuate," he said. She replied, "So should you." He looked at her. "I won't survive outside custody." "That's not true," she said. A pause. Then quieter. "I just don't know what happens to you after extraction." That was the first emotional slip. Kael noticed it instantly, not as manipulation, but as concern. Real concern. And for a moment he didn't respond with strategy. He responded with honesty. "Neither do I." Scene 7, Emotional flip begins. The breach intensified. Systems failing. External explosions echoing through the structure. Guards abandoning posts. Iris received evacuation orders. She ignored them. Kael finally stood. "For someone who interrogates prisoners," he said, "you're very bad at following survival protocols." She looked at him. "And you're very bad at being irrelevant." That landed harder than expected. A pause. Then Kael said quietly, "If you stay, you'll be classified as compromised." "I already am," she replied. Silence. That was the moment the dynamic shifted. Not prisoner and interrogator, but two people aware of each other's significance. Scene 8, Mutual recognition under collapse. The facility began to fall apart. Emergency lighting flickered. Structural systems failing. Kael broke restraints using a method Iris didn't catch immediately. Not brute force. Technique. Precision. He opened the door. "You should leave," he said again. Iris didn't move. "Why didn't you escape earlier?" He paused, then answered honestly, "Because you were still here." That sentence changed everything. Because it wasn't strategic. It wasn't tactical. It was acknowledgement. Iris understood then. He wasn't waiting for opportunity. He was waiting for certainty she wouldn't be left behind. Scene 9, the emotional flip fully revealed. They moved through collapsing corridors together. Side by side. No longer roles. Just survival. At one point a guard aimed at Kael. Iris reacted faster. Disarmed the threat. The guard fell. Kael looked at her. You hesitated. She replied. You were already moving. He nodded slightly. You trust timing more than orders. She looked at him. I trust patterns. A pause. Then Kael said. Then you understand me better than anyone here. That moment hit differently. Because it wasn't admiration. It was recognition. Mutual respect formed not through agreement, but through accurate perception. Scene 10, escape that was not escape. They reached the evacuation exit. Extraction units arrived. But Iris didn't move immediately. She looked at Kael. What happens to you now? He answered. I become a classified asset again. She frowned. And you accept that? A pause. Then, I don't have permission to refuse outcomes. Silence. Then Iris did something unexpected. She removed her command badge and placed it in his hand. Kael looked at it. You're compromising your career. She replied. I'm correcting a system assumption. He asked. Which one? She looked at him directly. That you are only a prisoner. That was the emotional flip. Because for the first time, someone in authority structure did not see him as just containment. And for the first time, Kael did not see her as just interrogator. Final scene, mutual respect. No resolution. Extraction lights filled the corridor. Orders shouted in distance. But neither of them moved immediately. Kael said quietly, You shouldn't have done this. Iris replied, You shouldn't have made me understand you. Faint pause. Then Kael said, Understanding changes classification. She nodded. I know. Silence. Not tension. Not fear. Just recognition. Then Iris stepped back toward extraction. But before leaving, she said, If we meet again, don't assume I'll treat you as a prisoner. Kael looked at her. And don't assume I'll act like one. For the first time, both understood the same truth. They were no longer operating inside the same simple categories. And mutual respect was more dangerous than hostility.